Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about a student's favourite topic, which is productivity. And basically I was thinking about this because somebody asked me to do a kind of like a how I stay productive in quarantine video, which I mean, I guess if I look at my time in quarantine and I kind of measured it up to other people's standards of productivity, then yeah, I'd say I'd been productive. But then I was kind of thinking, like, I'm not sure I want to contribute to just putting that standard out there. I very much take the camp of you really don't need to be productive in quarantine. You really don't need to be meeting any kind of productivity standard, especially not now, given everything that's happening in the world right now. I've mentioned this before and I'll mention it again as a disclaimer for this video that obviously not everything is meant for everybody, so productivity videos can be very useful to people who need to work and who have things that they want to get done and they're finding it hard to get motivated. So for that reason I think it's great and I understand that. But today I just wanted to talk about, I guess, our obsession with productivity that we have, kind of how we just need to all reevaluate. This is coming from someone who for A-levels would feel guilty if they didn't hit the 8-hour mark of revision a day. Granted, I got good grades and I got into the uni that I wanted to get into, but was that healthy? No. And were there healthier ways I could have done it? Probably. Which is why today I have my notes and I'm just gonna go through what I've written down. I haven't scripted anything, so I don't want it to sound like I have, but at the same time I thought I had some good points. So if I'm looking down, that is why. 2-page long, like I could have written an essay about why you'll never be productive. I feel like we have to ask ourselves why videos about productivity are so popular. And I'm guessing if you've watched this video, chances are you've probably watched a productive day in the life video or a how to be more productive, 10 ways to be more productive. Like, there are so many videos about productivity and maximizing your own time. And why is it if I do a day in the life or a vlog, if I put the word productive in the title, it gets more views than if I don't? But how productive has learning about productivity actually made us, and how productive has keeping ourselves to a particular standard of productivity made us? So I was kind of just thinking about why this is, and I think that these videos really speak to an ingrained reaction in ourselves that we as humans aren't good enough if we're not being productive, if we don't feel like we're achieving something, and if we're not working towards a particular standard or a particular goal or some kind of expectation that somebody else has set for us. And I think quarantine has made a lot of people realize how much they rely on something like that. And I feel like two different feelings have come up. The first is guilt for not doing the things that you feel like you should be doing, and then the other is when you literally don't actually have anything to be doing and you feel like you have no sense of purpose. Those two feelings I feel all the time. I've really realized how much I need to be doing something in order to, I guess, distract myself or feel better about myself or just take my mind off other things that I could start picking apart about myself that I don't like or about my situation or the world. Productivity has become such a great concept, I guess, to hide behind because it makes you feel good for distracting yourself from the things that make you feel bad. And if you think about the definition of productivity and where the word actually comes from, it's obviously a term used a lot in economics, so we start to think about capitalism and our economic system and why productivity exists. You kind of realize that it's meant for optimal efficiency and a way of producing goods, keeps the market economy going. So I think it's safe to say that this obsession with productivity is a product in itself of the current system that we have. When I think of it like that, I realize it doesn't have to be this way, and it's just what humans are choosing to place value on, which helps me step away from it all, which I'll get onto in a bit. The more I think about it, the more I realize that no matter how much I do, no matter how many hours I work, no matter how efficient I try to be, how quickly I try to get my work done, it doesn't matter what I do, what new tasks I take on, what goals I set for myself, no matter what, I will never be productive enough because I'm not a machine. I'm a literal human being. Productivity or the way that someone works changes all the time, and it's never predictable and it's never controllable because we change all the time, and the human body is just fluid and is subject to so many external influences and circumstances. Things like our mental health changes and our physical health changes and our responsibilities change and our family situations change. Throughout all of that and throughout all of life's ambiguities, we're still expected to work at the same constant steady pace, constantly churning out new ideas and new thoughts and new products, new words, onto the next, always onto the next. And this is so prevalent just across our whole society in general, not just on an individual level, but with companies and fast fashion and consumerism, and it all feeds into this vicious cycle, which as individuals just affects our mental health and affects the way that we see ourselves, because we're not a machine and we're not meant to be working hours and hours a day, a week, with no rest or time for ourselves or holidays. And just think about exams at school, like rote learning all of that information just to forget it afterwards, literally just so we can get a grade, which is then supposed to define our intelligence and basically sets up our next next stage in our academic lives. Now that I've done my A-levels and I'm at uni, I realised how irrelevant to the big scheme of things A-levels were, except for getting into my uni. And those 8 exams I did literally determined where I went, in which the whole time you're just thinking, how can I be more productive? And I've never watched as many productivity videos in my life as I have during college, and thinking that I just needed to be doing more and doing more and doing more. Drinking 3 cups of coffee a day just so I could revise so much and go over things I'd already done, and it's not something that only students experience. A lot of people take that into their work lives. When they go into the office, they're trying to be more productive than the next person, and the whole competition aspect and pitting people against other people to see who can be the most productive, because the person who's the most productive is the person who has the most physical evidence of their hard work. And hard work doesn't necessarily mean how much time you put into something. And the thought of going into a corporate job where nothing really changes and my worth is still measured and valued by my productivity makes me want to run and hide. The thought of it fills me with so much dread. But society views people as we're not enough if we're not productive, because we don't have a use for other people. And I just don't know where that whole idea came from, that humans, in order to be of value, had to have a specific use and had to be useful. If you knew how unique and special you are, but at the same time how completely normal you are, you'd realize it has absolutely nothing to do with the jobs that you perform because somebody told you that you have to, or you told yourself that you have to. And I think I really realized this when I got to uni, and it wasn't what I expected at all. And I'd worked so hard to be there, and it wasn't what I thought it would be, and it wasn't this big dream. I kind of realized that working isn't the point, productivity isn't the point, and it's not the reason why I'm here. I didn't know how to feel afterwards because I'd done it. Like, I'd got what I wanted, but what do I actually want? Because productivity won't make you happy, creating this incessant need to constantly have more and do more, and never actually teaching us how to just be. How can you be happy if you can't even sit with yourself? And how can you be happy if you can't accept who you are and your own inherent value and not even doing anything? I don't know, it's just crazy to me now that I guess I'm kind of on the other side looking back. I didn't feel okay with myself if I wasn't working, because then what do you do when you don't have that job anymore? And I think that's what people are realizing now with the whole coronavirus situation and the lockdown and so many people being on furlough. How could anybody think that making one thing a life was a good idea? Sometimes I'm like, what even is productivity? Because it just feels so bottomless and there's no end to it, and you can't objectively measure somebody's productivity. Productivity only looks good on other people. If you're sat comparing yourself to somebody else who just appears to be way more productive than you, you feel bad about yourself because you're not living up to the expectations society has set for you. If you're doing all the things that you think you should be doing, chances are you don't feel great about yourself either, because either you still think that you're not doing enough, or you feel overworked and burned out because you're not taking time for yourself, and you're not caring for your physical self or your mental health. You're not spending time with friends and family, or just doing the things that you love and just being creative. It is the reality of the life that we live. And obviously I'm not saying that we all just throw our hands up in the air and never do any work again, because where would that get us? Like, we can't just do that. What if instead of trying to be productive all the time, we just asked ourselves, well, what if my aim is to be present, and what if my aim is to be hardworking, and what if my aim is to try my best? Trying your best is all that anybody could ask of you, and if you try your best and you work hard and you focus on the present, to me those 3 factors are very different to wanting to always be productive. Productivity is striving towards a goal that is most likely unattainable, because it's not just a physical goal. Like, it becomes a standard and a way to feel about yourself and something to judge yourself by. But like I said earlier, we're not machines. You can't regulate humans that way. So I feel like with productivity you can set yourself up to fail, but if you try your best every day and you focus in the present moment when you're doing whatever you need to do, and you just commit to working hard, it doesn't matter if you don't reach a particular goal or you don't finish all of the tasks that you said that you would do in that day, because you did those 3 things. And so the focus is more on how you showed up for yourself, rather than whether you met some external standard or even a standard that you were placing on yourself. What really matters when it comes to achieving your goals and becoming the person you want to be and getting the life that you want, I think what matters the most is showing up for yourself, because that encompasses all areas of your life and not just work. You show up for yourself in your relationships and in your health, and just doing the things that you love in listening to music and reading books and going for a walk and just sitting for the sake of sitting and just being with yourself. Videos that teach you about time management and working more efficiently can be helpful, but it's this whole culture that isn't new and was created ages ago, you know, with the rise of corporations and corporate companies and consumerism. But I think what's more important than being productive is being hardworking, being committed to something and actually wanting to make a change and actually wanting to help yourself and help other people. One little story that I didn't mention and that I'm only just deprogramming in myself is that for my whole teenage life, as long as I can remember, I've always been a morning person, and I would always wake up with the sun when the sun would come into my room. As long as I could remember, I would wake up at, I don't know, 5:30, 6 in the summer and be exhausted. A normal person would have just drifted off back to sleep because obviously they didn't have to get up. Straight away, my brain would be thinking of all the things that I needed to get done, and I would be saying to myself, no, Jessica, get up. This is a waste of your life. You've got to get up and you've got to get things done. And it has taken me until a month before my 19th birthday to finally be able to get up at 8:30 in the morning. That is the furthest I've let myself sleep in, and I think I can count on one hand the amount of times I've slept past 8:30 in the morning, and all of them was because I was jet lagged. So that's something that I'm personally working on in terms of feeling like I need to be productive all the time and feeling like it's something that I always need to be doing. I just wanted to make this video to kind of make you guys think a little bit more about productivity and how could you ever even achieve that standard of productivity. Like, I don't think I've ever thought of myself as being productive, but other people certainly consider me productive. I never feel like I'm doing enough, and someone else looking at me would think I'm doing loads, and the same vice versa. I hope this made you think what productivity actually means to you and what it means to our society, and whether we should actually value it the way that we seem to value it, because personally I don't think we should. I think there are way more important personality traits and things that I would like to see in people and would like to nurture in children growing up, rather than teaching kids how to be more productive. Again, there's nothing wrong with those videos, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to spend your time in a useful way, which I get is what a lot of people are trying to do in quarantine, and I could make a video on how I've been doing that and how I've been making each day a little different from the rest and seem a little bit more meaningful. But yeah, those were just my thoughts on productivity. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you guys next time.